Hi guys, welcome back to the Star Fam channel. So this will be a labor and delivery video. I am going to share with you my experience going into labor. And then if you guys like this one, maybe I'll give you a postpartum story after this video. But yeah. So right when I woke up in the morning, it was November 12th. I was starting to feel, I want to say now that it was contractions right in the morning, but I was just sleeping it off and it would go away and it would come back like every few hours or so. So I was like, it's probably nothing. Um, and at this point, I'm already 39 weeks and like 4 days. So, it can happen any moment from that time to your due date. So yeah, I was already feeling weird. And then I had a doctor's appointment that day with my OBGYN to do a cervix check. Cervix, to do a cervix check to see if I was dilating. Aside from that, the appointment was also because my blood pressure had been high a few days before that. And throughout the whole pregnancy, my blood pressure was fine. It was never high, up until recently when it's like coming up to the date. So yeah, I went in and my blood pressure was still kind of high, and I was dilated only like 2 centimeters, I think. So obviously they sent me home, but they were like telling me to monitor like my blood pressure, my blood. Sorry guys, I'm high. He told me to go home and monitor my blood pressure, so that's what I did. And I kept thinking in my head, like, oh my god, it could happen any moment. It could happen any moment. I feel like that's why my blood pressure was high, also, because I was just like anxiety, like, because I knew the time was coming, and yeah. But yeah. So I went home, and then had to go to Summerfell with my boyfriend. So I was there for a while. I could tell like around like 7, like around 6, 7 p.m. the contractions started getting worse. And I still didn't know that they were contractions. I just thought it was like Braxton. I forgot what they're called, but the false contractions that you get, that's what I thought it was. Then we came back home and it was around 9 p.m. My boyfriend already went to sleep and I was just laying there, just like freaking out because I felt like I was getting contractions and like that they were getting worse. So I asked ChatGPT. I didn't know who else to ask, and I don't want to freak anyone out. So I was just like, I'm just gonna ask ChatGPT and see the fuck it says. So I was telling it about what I was feeling or whatever, and they were like, those are contractions. Like you should time them and stuff. So I was timing them, how often I was getting them, and I forgot what it was. It was like every 4 minutes I was getting them or something like that. And yeah, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna follow my intuition and what Chat's saying and go to the hospital because it could be happening right now. So I woke him up and then we rushed to the hospital and I was getting the contractions, like they were getting worse. So was my anxiety. And yeah, we checked in and then they checked me and I was dilated 5 centimeters. So they told me that I had to stay. So I stayed. And luckily we had all the stuff all ready to go. So I had my blankets, my clothes, the baby's clothes, the baby seat, the stroller, everything. Everything was ready. So at first they just had me in a little room, which is before the labor and delivery room. And I was there for a little bit, just waiting for them to admit me to one of the bigger rooms. So honestly, like I don't even remember how long I was waiting in that little room. But at some point they came, and I wasn't really keeping track of time. But yeah, so at some point they came, and then they took me to the labor and delivery room to wait there. And I was already thinking like, oh my god, it's gonna happen. But everything was going really, really slow. And I hear that it's like that towards a lot of people in their first pregnancy. Got admitted to the bigger room. So I was just chilling there for hours. Like I did not dilate for the longest time ever. Like I was pretty much there the whole night, and then the whole next day, and then that night, um, which is the 13th, which was the 13th, was when I went into labor. Yeah, that whole night I was just there. I was just tired, pretty much just waiting for it to happen. And the contractions were just getting worse. But I was trying to thug it out until I asked for the epidural because that was part of my plan, taking the epidural, but I didn't want to take it too late. So then, yeah, the next day comes and I've only dilated like a centimeter. So I'm at 6 centimeters, and they kept asking me if I wanted pitocin to speed up the process and everything, and I was just like waiting it out. So I told them I wanted the epidural first. So because my contractions started getting really bad to get like 2 to 3 minutes apart, and then a minute apart, and then yeah, I asked for the epidural, and the epidural was the worst experience I had while they were putting it in. Other than that, once it was in and I felt all that shit, I was good. But while they were putting it in, it was just a horrible experience. The doctor just could not like put it in. He poked me like 10 times until it finally got in there. I was just bleeding and I was getting contractions, contraction after contraction after contraction. And I was tired and I was just like, oh my god, but I need the epidural. So I finally got it after like 30 minutes. The doctor finally got the needle in there. And I didn't feel the epidural right away. So they gave me like this button. Every time you press it, medicine just goes in you. You feel numb from the waist down, like your legs. I was freaking out, I couldn't feel my toes. Like it felt good not feeling anything because of the contractions and shit, but it was giving me anxiety, the fact that I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't feel my toes, I couldn't feel them moving, like I was freaking out. But that's why I kept trying to like just sleep it off. And I finally got the Pitocin at some point after that so we could speed up the process. So I took it out for like 2 hours first, and then I dilated all the way up to 8. And then I took another 2 hour nap, and I finally dilated to 10. So I was ready to go. I was tired, like I was still a little scared, but I was mostly tired and I just wanted to get it over and done with. Let me retrace a little bit. So throughout like the whole process, throughout me waiting and everything, they told me that I got like preeclampsia, and because of my high blood pressure, because it was still coming out a bit high. So I took lab tests and they came back positive for preeclampsia. So they explained to me what that was and everything. It was a little bit scary, but I don't know. I didn't feel like sick or anything. I wasn't getting swollen or anything. Like I didn't feel any of the symptoms that people feel. The only thing was that my blood pressure was coming out a little bit high. So I was just staying hydrated. I was just staying positive, and I was like, okay, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing. Yeah, I was just trying to stay positive. So I dilated to 10 centimeters after they gave me the pitocin, and then the nurse came in and we did a few warm ups of me pushing. And honestly, I thought it was gonna be quick. Like the warm ups took so long. I don't know why I just didn't just give birth like right then and there. They kept telling me I had to wait for the doctor to get there. Um, but we did these warm ups of me pushing for like 30 minutes, hella long, and So at some point, the doctor comes in, we're all ready to go, and now I actually have to push to get the baby out. They did ask me if I wanted to watch the process through the mirror, but I did not. I did not want to like see all that. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird for that, but no, I did not want to see all that. I just like I was scared, so I just wanted to get it over with. I was looking at the ceiling, praying to God that everything turned out good. Alright, so I just got home. I'm just gonna finish my story time here. So the doctor came in and all the nurses were really nice. Everybody was really nice, honestly. I'm so glad I got really nice nurses. They had a lot of patience with me. But yeah, I was probably pushing for about an hour. It did take me like a while. And she finally came out like around 11:51 p.m. I believe on November 13th. And when she came out, honestly, I was just in shock. Like it was just a crazy experience and it happened way too fast. Every time I kept pushing, they kept saying like getting closer, getting closer. And FYI, my boyfriend was helping so much with it was like this thing so I could be like pulling up and then he was like pulling it as well. So that was helping a lot throughout the whole process. I was getting so freaking tired. Like that was just so tiring, honestly. And when she came out, I was in shock too. She didn't cry right away, so that was kind of worrying. But after like a few seconds, like after like 10 seconds, she started crying. So thankfully, because it looked like she came out like in shock. But yeah, that was scary. And I did have a minor tear. It wasn't anything crazy. It was very, very little. I had some stitching. Um, but yeah, it was very, very little. I didn't feel anything throughout the whole pushing out experience. The contractions were probably the worst. They stitched me up a little bit, and then after that, I was all set. Make sure you guys are using, there's something called like a peanut and then the yoga ball. Make sure you guys are using those whenever you're having contractions. Those help me out a lot. And one of the nurses actually recommended to do those exercises, or also just like sit in the shower while you're getting the contractions and everything, or while you're on the yoga ball. That helped me out a lot. Overall, my experience was really good. It was just really scary knowing that I had preeclampsia. So it was kind of just like not knowing what to expect. But overall, everything was good. Everybody treated me really well. I wish I remembered the nurses' names, but all of them were amazing. They were really nice and really helpful and really understanding and really patient. After all that was over, they took me to my room and I had some of my family come and see me. So at that point, it's already like really late. It was midnight, probably past midnight. So everybody went home, and then I ended up going to sleep. My boyfriend, the baby, and well, I didn't know that the baby would be waking up every hour. I was already really tired, but my boyfriend was being really helpful. Yeah, well, anyway, that's it for this video. That wraps it up. I was there for a few days due to my preeclampsia, my high blood pressure, and all that. Total of like 4 days. And then I finally checked out and we brought the baby home. I was actually thinking about making a postpartum video and a newborn video. Well, that wraps it up for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share my videos. Thank you.